already gotten a lot of his safety gear on. I'm going to do the same thing. And we're actually going to end up wrapping off a tree here to safely get down. And Ken's in his ute, of course. I'm using an Aston House today, and I wanted to show you kind of how that works out as far as carrying a technical load, some ice tools,
some spin drift.
So for starters, I got my crampons right here. I've got my ice tools stowed underneath the Aston pocket. I've got in the compartment next to my body, I've got a few loose items on top here that I'm going to pull out. But then I got all my climbing rack stuff organized in there and clipped in. With this compartment is where all my snivel gear is. Outer compartment here. So I've got some mittens, knee pads, DeLorme inReach for punching out. Well, it's never a straight up punch out, but at least get a little bit of aid. My survival gear, and then a big puffy jacket. So kind of a real brief one, not a full demo, but that's how the Aston House is working out for me today. And Ken's got one cramp on here. I'm going to turn the camera off and get the rest done, and hopefully we'll have a safe descent out of here. I'm in the midst of a busy couple of weeks. We did get off the mountain last week without mishap. This week I'm traveling with my family. Both last week and this week I'm using the Aston House Pack. So this is our kind of low profile, do-it-all, maybe some concealed purposes pack. I'm going to show you a little bit more about how I'm using it just simply for travel. I have my tripod here on the outside. This is one of our 16-ounce bottle holsters, and I've simply placed it on the PALS webbing that's on the side of the Aston House Pack. As you can see, there's a panel of the 612 fabric here that's PALS cut, so you can mount PALS mountable pouches such as this. Alright, so as I talked about before, you have the two main compartments. You have this compartment and you have this compartment. The way that I'm using those compartments today is a little bit different than it was on the ice climbing trip last week. A little bit different. A lot of this actually remained the same. For starters, remember that compartment that is next to the back for holding heavy items? I'm carrying my attaché with my laptop in it. And then from a photography standpoint, I have my point and shoot camera stowed in one of our small short organizer pouches. And then you'll see again the DeLorme inReach. Even if you're traveling by road, not a bad idea to have one of those. And I've added another small short organizer bucket here for some of my tech items. Now what's interesting about this, pretty straightforward travel pack, laptop bag, camera bag, but we are traveling by car halfway across the continent. So I've got a little bit extra packed here. These, pretty clear what those are about. In addition, I have one of our trauma kits from Dark Angel Medical stowed here. Again, that sort of goes with these, and you can see how I have some ammunition and a trauma kit close at hand, but it wasn't real obvious that that was the case. Unlike last week, I don't have crampons stowed in this compartment. I've got some of the stuff that was scavenged out of my kit bag, which I'm not carrying this week at all. You have the 3 pockets here, and you also have a mesh pocket on the outer leg. Since I didn't cover it on the side of the mountain last week, we have a harness that, it's our single point harness like on the Ute backpack that's articulatable, but we also have the shoulder lifters as well. That combination is pretty doggone nice for just shoulder only carry. In this area, that'll take a recon belt, one of our recon waist belts, and you might have noticed that when I had this on the mountain last week, I was using a recon belt for that additional load capability. First off, I was able to put my water bottle holsters on it. Second of all, it does take up a fair amount of the load and put it on your waist instead of your shoulders. Well, this is me in the temperate rainforest. This morning I've cut some elk sign. It's kind of hard to tell how old they were because the aging out here is very different than the environment that I'm from. I've also heard a couple of vocalizations that I couldn't quite identify, but and these tall trees sound echoes around in ways that I'm not accustomed to. These are all things that you can learn if you just spend time in an area and pay attention. So first of all, there is a zipper on the bottom, and this zipper accesses the compartment that's just next to the suspension. That does two things for me. I can easily get things on the bottom that I need to. I have a tarp stowed here, as well as my spare socks in a Ziploc bag. Also, if I wanted to carry something long like a set of skis or a firearm in that compartment next to my back, I can open up the bottom, and that gives me a pass-through for that. Via the use of G-hooks, I can move these bottom straps outboard, and there's a similar arrangement at the top, so if I'm carrying something wider, I have a way to account for it. A little bit more information. The very back here has a 2/3 height slot pocket that's actually cut with the First Spear 612 fabric, in this case Velcro inside. That gives me a place to mount PALS mountable pouches or just tie stuff in. And I could also Velcro pouches or PALS mount pouches on the inside of that. Okay, so my melodramatic length of steel. Indigenous folks in jungles the world over carry big choppers in preference to axes. All this stuff is relatively soft and fast growing, and a big chopper ends up being more efficient. So this is basically just a survival thing for me if I had to construct a shelter. Alright, so this also is the First Spear 612 inside of this compartment for the entire height of it. It does have the Hypalon hang loops at the top. In this case, I've just got a few things. I have one of our tool rolls inside of here. I'm carrying my full-size first aid kit because I'm a long way from home. And I have a good puffy shoved in the bottom. On the compartment where previously you saw my attaché with my laptop, well, I've converted that. Now I've got a water bottle and a hydration bladder hanging inside of there. There is a hydration port up at the top here. I'm not a big fan of those. I'd rather just run it out the zipper, much easier access, and with a dual zipper pull, I just snug it up around there. This compartment is not lined with the 612 fabric. It's just for sliding things in and out. It'll take our Aston insert, our Terra insert, anything you want to hang. So that's kind of the main cargo compartment. And it's a pretty light load. I'm running beltless today, but this is me with my travel pack that's now been converted for a hike out here in the temperate rainforest.